hearty good morning to all. From our English Reader Course book, in page number 140, we have lesson 11, The Hitch Hiker. Before laying the foundation of the story, let us have some talkings about the author. The Hitch Hiker is a short story written by Roald Dahl. Roald Dahl was a British author and script writer and the most popular writer of children's book. The Hitchhiker is about the author himself, who picks up a hitchhiker while driving to London. He always stops for the hitchhiker because he used to be one who knows how difficult it can be. Later, what happened to him we would come to know from this story. Now, let's shift to the characters. In this story, we have three characters. First is the author himself. Second is a man who is the hitchhiker. And third is a cop who is a police officer. So, let's start the story. Welcome back to the story The Hitchhiker by Roald Dahl. The author drove to London in his new BMW, a car which had its top speed of 129 miles per hour. He picked up a hitchhiker who was a small ratty-faced man with grey teeth. The man mentioned that he was going to the horse races, but not to bet or work the ticket machines. The author was curious to know about the man, so he told of himself that he was a writer, and the trouble was that writers are terribly nosy. Now, as they were talking about the car, the author proudly spoke out that his car could hit 129 miles per hour. For this, the hitchhiker doubts. So, once they hit a straight path of road, the author stepped on the gas. The man was thrilled. As the car was flying, a cop, meaning a police officer, zoomed past and signaled them to stop. He rode off the bike, came closer to the opened window of the car and placed one meaty hand on the sill. You know, the cop was a bit of a bully and threatened the author to throw in prison. He took down the author's address and also that of the hitchhiker. Then he gave them a ticket and left to continue on their way. Now the author was worried about the ticket and his new car. The man beside him viewed that the author was in trouble, that he had some tension-like feelings. So he said that it was better that the cop had written the address of both of them in the black notebook. Hearing these words from the man's mouth, the author hurried to London for the solicitor, but the man said it's in vain. Then several matters arose of here and there, this and that, and eventually the man took out a tin of tobacco and a packet of cigarette papers and started rolling. All these actions were watched by the author out of the corner of one eye. So fast the man rolled the cigarette papers with his fingers that made the author confused and amazed. It was incredible for him. Then the man declared that he has got fantastic fingers. He is a fingersmith. Saying this, he showed the author's black leather belt in his hand to him. The author was surprised because sitting beside him, how could he take off his belt? The man dropped the belt on the author's lap, and the next moment there was a brown shoelace in his hand. The author was unknown about it. So the man asked if anyone around there missing a shoelace. In the car, only two persons were there. So it might be of one or the other. But the man was asking the author. So the author glanced down at his shoes and saw that the lace of one of the shoe was missing. At once he spoke out. How could the man do such a work? He had not even bent down. Now the man felt proud of himself and smiled. He had impressed the author greatly with those two tricks. Then he asked the time from the author. The author told him to look at the clock of the car. But the man said that he don't trust car clocks. So he wanted to know the time from the author's watch. The author hitched up his sleeve, but his watch was missing. The man held out his hand and showed the watch. The watch was expensive, but he returned it to the author, for he had given him a lift. Now the author came to know that the man is a pickpocket. But the man didn't like the word pickpocket because it is a vulgar word. He announced that he is a professional fingersmith. Blacksmith or goldsmith was heard by the author, but the word fingersmith he had heard the first time. Suddenly, the thought of the cop hammered author's mind and he started bathing with fear. The man saw the author in trouble and learned the matter. He told the author to erase the memory of the cop from his mind. He showed the two black notebooks on which the cop had entered the address of them. He had stolen both books from the policeman. How would the cop call the author or the man without their address? So both were safe. Like this, though the hitchhiker was a professional pickpocket, he did not harm the author and enjoyed the trip. Thank you.